Good morning students and welcome to your English class. I hope you are all fine and taking care of yourself as well as your family and doing your regular studies. In today's session, we will discuss the remaining part of the poem The Laburnum Top, which we discussed in the previous sessions. We discussed the detailed summary of the poem and I hope you have understood. The Laburnum Top by Ted Hughes. In this poem today, we will discuss we'll look at the good word meanings of the sentences as well as we will discuss the poetic devices of this poem. So, I hope we have understood the poem thoroughly, where the poet Ted Hughes, who is known to be a naturalist, a good poet, who is so much in connection to the nature, which made him write the poems based on the natural things. In this poem, he talks about a tree, a laburnum tree, which used to be like all other trees, stood silent without any movement, and that tree becomes alive suddenly with the arrival of the bird, goldfinch bird. It's because she made her nest in one of the trees, one of the laburnum trees, and she had small young ones in it. When she arrives bringing food in her beak, all the children, all the young ones of the bird, they feel happy to see the mother with food. And the poet, who gets so much affected, so much attracted toward the scene, writes that the bird is the engine of the family. It's because she stalks it. Means like when the engine works, engine gets energy when some fuel is added. All in the same way, these young ones also seems to be engine who is stalked by the bird, and they get energy to grow up. And he took many examples here. He also calls them, and poet also talks about the bird as a lizard. The poet compares the bird with the lizard. It's because he says the lizard, it walks sleekly, slowly, without any noticing. As the same manner, the bird arrives at the branch of the laburnum tree, and it's slyly, it's secretly, it's without noticing and without any movement, it comes, and with the arrival of it, the birds, the young ones of the birds starts chirping. And the poet also talks about that the whole tree trembles and thrills. So he says the tree becomes suddenly alive and it thrills, as well as it starts trembles. So these two beautiful words, trembles and thrills, word is used for tree because it becomes all of a sudden it becomes so alive and so full of sensations and the movements that it looks that it is thrilling and trembling to the poet. And the poet is also using here the chirping. There are whispering and chirping or chittering. These kind of words have been used by the poet to attract the reader about the voice of these small young ones of the goldfinch bird. So different words have been used like chirping. There is a word like chirrup, whispering, whistle chirrup, chittering. So these few beautiful words have been used by the poet for the voices of the young ones of the goldfinch bird, as well as some very good words used by the poet is like when the bird feeds her young ones and flew away in the sky. So the infinite word is used for sky, which makes it more beautiful. So the poet is using infinite for sky, as well as laburnum subsides to empty. Subsides word is also very suitable. Otherwise, he could use some other word which could not be attracted. But this word subsides means it becomes or comes back or return back. as well as she launches away. The poet could write fly away, but he wrote launches away in the sky. So launches means flying here as per the poem. So these are some of the beauty of the writing. So even when if you sometimes sit and feel like that I should also write something, so you can use some of the words which make your poem beautiful, as well as it looks beautiful to the reader. So this poem is is a fine example to bring a reader close to the nature, as well as to bring the message that there is life and death. So it is all about like how things are once alive, and on the other hand things become silent. So it has a message also in this poem. So let's start with the word meaning, as we promised that in today's session we will discuss word meaning of the lesson, since we have done its detailed summary. Word meaning. The first word here is laburnum. Laburnum is a short tree. The second word is twitch. Twitch, which means small or voluntary movement. Next word is startlement. Startlement means amazement or a sudden unexpected action is called startlement. The other word used here is sleek. Sleek means something smooth. So sleek means sleek as lizard word is used. So sleek means smoothly. Next is chittering. Chittering word is used for sounds of birds. And there is tremor. Tremor means shiver or shake. Then is trilling. Trilling is used here for singing and repeatedly. So when someone sings repeatedly, that's word used, trilling. Laburnum, a short tree. Twitch, small or voluntary movement. Startlement, amazement or a sudden unexpected action. Sleek, smooth. Chittering, sound of birds. Tremor, shiver or shake. Trilling, singing repeatedly. Next words are straw, add fuel. Infinite, infinite as I told you, it's used for sky. Eerie means mysterious way or a strange way. Launches, again I said launches is used for flying, so flies as per poem. Next is subsides, means return or reduce to intensity. It's called subsides. You must have used this term in science or in some of the other subjects. Subsides means return or back to or reduces to intensity. So these are the meanings of this word. Now we will discuss the poetic devices of the poem. I hope the meanings are clear to you and you can note down in your notebooks also. Now the poetic devices. What are poetic devices? As I suggested you, what are poetic devices? Are the devices, or they are also called literary devices. What is literary device? It means when the poet writes something beautiful and to make it attractive, they have their styles of writing. So that style of writing is also called literary ways of writing. So the poet, the way the poet writes have been defined with the words, which defines the activity or defines the beauty of the work being done by the poet. So these words are given the name of literary devices. Means any writer, any poet, any narrator writes in a different way, and every person has its own way of writing. To demonstrate the effective work of these writers and poets, they made figures of speech. The way they figure out the speeches, the way they write it, they have been given names like simile, metaphor, personification, images, symbol. There are hundreds of figures of speech are there, but in class up to 12 we are limited to use these figures of speech. So importantly, we learn about simile, we learn about metaphor, we learn about onomatopoeia, we learn about rhyme, ending rhyme, middle, as well as we learn about alliteration, we learn about images and symbol, personification. So these are the words which are limited up to your syllabus, so we are doing that. Otherwise there are hundreds of figures of speech which is used by the poets at a different level of time. So I am starting with the very first, we are starting with very first poetic devices used by the poet here. So the first is personification. The first is personification. The first poetic devices. So we are using poetic devices. Okay. So the first poetic device is personification. What is personification? When any thing is compared or is presented as a human is called personification. So that way, when the poet has something to share and it calls it and compares that thing, living, maybe non-living, but images him as a person. So that is called, like the tree. Tree cannot be a person, but here the poet wants to tell that this tree reacts to become alive or become still. So here the poet is comparing tree with the human qualities. That is why it is personification. So the poet is comparing the human qualities with the tree. So this is called personification. The very first line, the laburnum top is silent. So this line is example of personification. Here laburnum top, which is a tree, is silent. So tree cannot be silent, neither can they speak. But here the silent word defines that this tree is being compared as person who is silent, who is not speaking, right? So this example, this line, the laburnum top is silent, is example of personification. Okay. Now another line is tree trembles and thrills. Have you ever seen tree trembles and thrills? Tree tremble and thrills. So here tree has been given the quality of being thrilling, means frightening, and trembling means shaking. So tree itself can't shake or cannot tremble themselves or cannot thrills itself until unless the waves are there or the air pushes the tree with a heavy force. Only then it trembles a bit. Otherwise, tree itself cannot tremble. So here personification is used for the tree. The word tremble and the word thrills being used here. So this is called personification. So person can get tremble, person can get thrills when you watch any when you watch any horror movies. So you get thrills, you get trembled by some sudden action, but tree cannot do itself until unless there is a breeze. But here personified किया गया है. Tree has been defined as a person who is trembling and who is thrilling, right? So tree is being compared as a person who is trembling and thrilling here. Okay. So next example we are taking is the alliteration. Next poetic devices is alliteration. What is alliteration? Repeated words, right? So repeated words, first letter of the consonants or maybe vowels. This is called alliteration. Like here it is used September, sunlight. September, sunlight. So September sunlight is used here as alliteration. What are the other examples of it is, the other example here is tree trembles, the same tree trembles and thrills. Here T sound has been repeated more than a time. Tree trembles and thrills. So T is repeated. Here S September and S for sunlight. So here this S is repeated. Here T is repeated. Some more examples of it is whistle, chirrup, whispering. The last two lines of it. It is given whistle, chirrup, whispering. So these are the examples of alliteration. September sunlight, here W. Tree trembles, trills, here whisper, whistle, chirrup, whispering. So WW sounds are repeated. Let's see if we have more examples of it. Okay. Now, I hope you have understood. Personification is a device where poet gives human quality to things. Like here, tree is being given, tree is silent, whereas a human used to be silent, so it is compared as human. Again, tree is compared to man's human qualities like trembles and thrills, right? Alliteration is repeated sounds, right? It may be consonant or it may be vowel sounds. So repeated sounds of alphabets. Like here, September sunlight, tree trembles, thrills, whisper and whispering. So these are the examples of alliteration in the poem, right? Shall we move forward? Next, we will discuss simile. Very close related to this. You have done simile in even first poem. The first poem we done was, what was the first poem we had done? The first poem we had done was a photograph. Okay, so in that also we had done it. Now we'll do simile, where two things are compared, two different things are compared, and we do not make direct comparison between two different things. We make comparison with the help of using word like or as. So here in the poem, poet is also using sleek as lizard. Here lizard is bird is compared to lizard. So it says sleek as lizard. So here add is used. It means the bird is compared to a lizard, which is smooth or. Another example of it is simile. Okay, let's see if we have yellow trees fallen on its saddle. Okay, so we have only one example of simile in this poem, sleek as lizard. There are examples of metaphor. There are some examples of metaphor used in the poem. What are those metaphor examples? A machine starts up. A machine starts. A machine starts up. Here, machine is used for the young ones. For the young ones. जो birds हैं, उनके young ones. It is used for the young ones of the birds. So, metaphor, a machine starts up. When they look at their mother, they start chirping continuously, making sounds. So, that is why it says machine starts up. Means the young ones have been directly compared to machine. They are called machine here. They are not using like machine, but they are machine. So, direct comparison is made for the young ones, which starts up. A machine starts up looking at the mother. Another example of it is engine of her family. Engine of her family. So here the bird is being called engine. These young ones maybe, or bird is called engine of her family. It is the engine of her family. She is the big engine who runs it, who controls it. But to control that engine, she stocks up her young ones. So engine is used here for bird. So this is how there is direct comparison of bird with the engine. So that is why. Next is the next example is she stocks it full. She stocks it full. So this is another example of it. She stocks it full. So who does she stocks it full? It is again used for the young ones. The young ones of the bird. She stocks them. She full them. She put fuels to them. Stocks means put fuel. So she puts fuel to make them full. So it is used here for young ones of the bird. Next example is showing her bare face identity. Bared face means the face. Bared face is another example of metaphor here. Okay. One more example of personification we can take is like tree. I think we have done that also already. The tree chirrups and that another is used here. Tree trembles and thrills. I think we have done that already. So this is how we are using. Another poetic device used here is something new, which is onomatopoeia. This is basically a literary device is used for sounds, right? Whenever you see like the water, there is a different sound used for water. Like for rain, it is chitter chatter. So in the same way, different words are used for it. Like here, the poet is using the word chirrup. So the poet is saying whistle, chirrup. Here the poet says trillings. The words trilling is also a sound. The word chirrup, whistle, chittering. So these are different words used for the sounds of the young ones of the bird. So these all sounds are called this onomatopoeia. Okay, so these are the literary devices which we are using in this poem. Some activity I am leaving for you on page number 32. It says that what laburnum is called in your language. So you have to find what laburnum tree is called in your language, and what is local bird is like the goldfinch. So you have to tell if you have any birds which are similar to goldfinch, you have to name it. And what do you notice about the beginning and ending of the poem? I think we have done detailed summary. You will be able to tell us what have you noticed in the beginning and what have you noticed in the end of the poem. To what is the bird's movement compared? So bird's movement is compared to a lizard. What is the basis of comparison? What is the basis for the comparison? Why it has been compared? I think you will be able to answer this. What is the image of engine evoked by the poet? Why did poet has used this image of engine? Right? I have discussed this several times. What do you like most about the poem? So this is your thinking type of which part of the poem you like the most. You have to write it in your notebook and have to send it to me. What does the phrase her bared face identity mask mean? Right? And then these are the questions that you have to do. So I think this lesson, this poem is complete today. I hope you have understood the word meanings and have understood the poetic devices used in the poem. Do complete your notebooks and keep sending the clicks of the notebook so that we get to know the progress of your work, and accordingly we could just see how are you sincerely doing your work. And I am sure you are sincere to do your work, since we are far away and we cannot go to join the school as soon as we do not have any orders. But do take care of yourself, do complete your work, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new lesson. Till then, take care of yourself and have a nice day. Thank you.